For as good as the source material is, and as excited as I was to see this show continue, I was very apprehensive going into Season 2 of Invincible. Season 1 was a perfect distillation of the first 10 or so chapters of the comic, enveloping the initial arc of that story better than I ever thought possible. Sure, it draws ideas that come up much later than that, mainly for Rudy, but that season is really about Mark's origin and the reveal of why Omni-Man killed the Guardians of the Globe. That mystery drives the narrative forward in a way I thought Season 2 might be lacking in. But I was immediately proven wrong, with Season 2 starting out with a bang and only getting better as time went on. But does it reach the climactic and emotional ending of the first season? Definitely check out Season 2 of Invincible, because I think it does. Welcome to Sandwich Reviews. I'm the Talking Sentient Sandwich, and I don't think I'll ever change my opinion that Invincible is my favorite long-form superhero story ever. Just the fact that this show was created by the same writing team that made the comic is exactly why it works so well. Those writers were able to adapt virtually the same story, sometimes even word for word, but necessary changes are incorporated when there is a chance for the story to be better. I'll end up restating a lot of the points I brought up in my last Invincible review, but like I said in that video, numerous characters like Donald and Debbie are infinitely more interesting in the TV show. Intrigue and mystery are added to their storylines, making me care about them in a way that I just didn't when reading the comic. But for the most part, it is virtually the same story, and this was the perfect amount of narrative to pack into this second season. Upping the stakes, we see more civilizations and organizations. Whether they be alien or terrestrial, we just got more. And what we already knew was expanded upon in the best way possible, adding intrigue and layers rather than just explaining and moving on. That's all I can really say without spoiling everything, so from here on out, spoilers for all of Season 2. The first thing I have to mention is that Spider-Man cameo. Well, as close as we could get. Despite the comic version actually meeting Peter for real, they couldn't legally get Spider-Man in the TV show. But they got Josh Keaton to voice him, and that's enough for me. Plus, he did meet and make fun of Batman, and went into the Walking Dead universe. I assume it's The Walking Dead only because Robert Kirkman, creator of the Invincible comic, also wrote The Walking Dead. But the way they would seamlessly integrate those cameos with Angstrom threatening Mark's family was incredible. I was a little worried about the tonal whiplash of that, but every time we went back to the house, the drama smacked me like a crashing wave again and again, and I loved it. Sterling K. Brown acted the hell out of that sequence too. You could really feel the pain and the hate that he was going through. And Stephen Young getting angry with him or trying to talk him down was so emotionally charged. Adding Oliver's crying in the background, sometimes without any other music, just amped up the anxiety too. That sequence where Invincible gets punched through a bunch of different dimensions may not have been as fluid as, say, the What If finale where Ultron knocks the Watcher through universes, but it was still really fun to watch. And the moment that flips and Mark starts beating him, the music swells and the camera spins from Angstrom's point of view, and I got swept up in the emotion just like Mark. So after setting up his conflict with clearly not wanting to kill over the entire season, Mark kills Angstrom and begins to lose it. I wish there wasn't as much talking to himself, but Mark even points that out. And there's a fantastic edit where it hard cuts to Mark's face, depicting the jarring conflict going through his head. And for me, that made it all worth it. Stranded in the Mad Max desert, the only hope that he has is a dune worm showing up to save him. Of course, what actually comes to save him is just as inexplicable and convenient, but I like how the future Guardians of the Globe tease what's to come. There's time stream stuff and Rex, which is very important, but what really got me excited was what they did with Eve. But that's all for another time in the future. I mean, the way the entire first part of the finale played out was more than just perfect. It was jaw-dropping, and I would have been satisfied if that's all the perfection that we got. But this season laid out so many more seeds for the future, and I have to discuss at least a few of those. The biggest point that this show gets into is how much a hero should undertake. How involved should they be? And how do you decide who to stop? While I definitely wouldn't want a Viltrumite takeover, Anissa brings up some good points in that a regime of super people pushing their will on us would end up with humanity's survival. So how do we get to that endpoint where humanity is safe and healthy without any genocide? Maybe the rest of the show will get to the bottom of that. All I'll say about that for now is, when are we gonna get Dinosaurus? But I also want to talk about Nolan. He's still an indisputably bad guy, but he's starting to realize just how human he's become. After calling her a pet, he really doesn't have any room to say that he misses his wife, but that realization and the honesty behind it is his first real step towards redemption. I think this entire season was just getting him ready for that. And on that note, each of the Graysons got the same rocky-sized black eye, highlighting just how similar they all are. As much as Mark tries to be a paragon of good and listen to his mother's advice, he is still his father's son. And going forward, we're going to be seeing a lot more of that. It mainly begins when he gets his new costume, but I knew Invincible would be getting his butt kicked for at least a few seasons. But I'm guessing from season 3 on, Mark's going to train and get stronger, with no more one-sided fights. But that's for the future. Hopefully less than a year away, but probably more. Until then, thanks for watching. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe for weekly videos and reviews, and enjoy a delicious sandwich.